Hey guys, what's up? Dr. W here, and today, to celebrate the end of the PS4's life, as the PlayStation 5 will be releasing in a couple months, we'll be ranking my top 10 favorite PlayStation 4 exclusives. Now, before we do this, remember this is my personal list. You can have your own feelings, and we can discuss those civilly in the comments if you would like. And remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment. You know, it helps the channel out a lot to build a fan base up, and I really appreciate it. And let's hop on into this at number 10. My 10th favorite PlayStation 4 exclusive is Ratchet and Clank. I really like this game. I remember playing the original as a kid. I've loved this series since the first one came out. This game is beautiful. It's a well done remake. They priced it great at $40 instead of $60. I think why this game is at the bottom of my list is mostly because it is a remake of a previously made game. You know, it's not an original IP. It's not even a sequel to, you know, an original IP. It's just a remake of a game that was done really well and it's fun to play, but it doesn't bring as much to the PlayStation 4 ecosystem as some of the other games do on my list. But it's definitely worth checking out if you have a PlayStation 4 and you haven't played it yet. Next up would be Death Stranding. Death Stranding is a weird game. To be honest, I didn't like it as much as Ratchet and Clank, but I feel like it's unique. I didn't hate it. It's just such a unique game, and I feel like the uniqueness of it brings something to the PlayStation ecosystem that Ratchet and Clank didn't, and that's why it's going up at number 9 instead of number 10. I could see an argument to flip these two, but I think the uniqueness of Death Stranding and what type of game it is, and this weird Hideo Kojima vision that you can only get on PlayStation with this game, I feel it adds a lot to the system, and that's why it's number 9 for me. Number 8, and this is what I have to say, remember this is my personal feelings. Number 8 on my list is Bloodborne. I'm not really good at Souls games. They kind of bore me after a couple hours, you know, because I just run around, kill people, get their souls, restart. I rarely make it out of the first couple of areas because that's all I do because, you know, I suck. But it's a great game. I know people love it. I had a lot of fun with my 10 or 15 hours playing it. I think I got through the first 3 or 4 bosses. All my Bloodborne gameplay is on the YouTube channel if you want to check it out. So be sure to do that if you're interested to see how far I actually got. But it's a fun game. I really enjoyed playing it. It's just not my type of game, but I understand its value, and that's why it's on the list. Next up, another game that it's not really my type of game, but I understand its value, and it's the highest rated PS4 exclusive, so it's got to be on this list somewhere. And I do kind of like the vibe it gives off. I've just never been a huge fan of the style of game. Number 7 is Persona 5. I'm not really fond of JRPGs with this turn-based mechanic. The whole high school setting kind of turns me off, but it has such a huge fan base, and it is a fun game. You can get 100, 200 hours out of it. If you enjoy the aesthetic, it's probably going to be way higher on your list if you enjoy this type of gameplay and all that. And it's a very important game to the PlayStation ecosystem. It's just not my favorite type of game, so it's at number 7 on my list. Number 6 is Uncharted 4. I'm putting this on here instead of Lost Legacy because Uncharted 4 is a full game, while Lost Legacy is kind of like this spin-off type deal. If you want an Uncharted game, I would definitely say you need to play, you know, 1 through 3 before you play 4. I don't think 4 is the best, but since it's the only full Uncharted game that came to PlayStation, it's, you know, the one that represents Uncharted on here. Uncharted 4 is definitely better than Last of Us 2. Uncharted 4 is a great game with the new open-ish areas they added and the grappling hook, and it has a great ending to Nathan Drake's story. So it's all there. I just think Uncharted 4 is like a 9, where Uncharted 2 and 3 are like 10s. But it's definitely worth the play. I would recommend all the games I have said up till now for anyone to play if you haven't already with the PS4. Definitely all 10 games on this list are must-plays if you got a PS4, so don't sleep on any of these. Next up on my list at number 5, I'm sorry if you heard that, that was a car passing by my window. At number 5 is Final Fantasy VII Remake. This seems to be a game that people adore. The fans of the original game, are kind of upset that they took some of these like liberties, maybe some elements from Kingdom Hearts, and put them in this game. I haven't played Final Fantasy VII, the original one, before I played this game, and I've never played Kingdom Hearts because it looks so fucking goofy. No pun intended. But the combat in this game is so excellent, that the characters are amazing. The story is great. I feel like, unlike Ratchet and Clank, which is a remake of the original and a very well done remake, Final Fantasy VII Remake is just taking the original and adding a lot to it that brings it up to the next level, because the original was stuck in that kind of PS1 type era, and it has brought it up to the current gen. I think it adds a lot to the original game, and that's why it gets a boost to the 5th spot instead of the 10th spot. And I also think Final Fantasy VII Remake is just a better game than Ratchet and Clank. So that's why it gets up to here. Now, the next three, 4, 3, and 2, I could see them moving around anywhere in that area. Number 1 is definitely my number 1. There's no competing with that. But 4, 3, and 2, I could see some moving around with. So, without further ado, number 4 is Marvel's Spider-Man by Insomniac. This game is amazing. It's a 9 or 10 out of 10. It's a great game. There's some things that are holding it back. I didn't really like the Mary Jane sneaking around sequences with the boxes. That was kind of annoying. And it's a Spider-Man game, so it's based on this IP, and it's kind of drawing from a lot of different elements. You know, you kind of... It's a good Spider-Man game. That's why it's surprising, you know. But I feel like it is not as unique and doesn't bring as much to the system, though being exclusive on the system helps out a lot. But I feel like it doesn't bring as much of a punch as like this specific IP for PlayStation that the number 3 and number 2 spot do. There is a blast to play. Number 3 is Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon Zero Dawn is... I thought it was definitely going to be number 2, but we'll discuss that when we get to number 2 spot. It's an amazing game. I really enjoyed the story. I'm looking forward to the sequel. The DLC is also amazing. All the different animals that they made out of the robotics are great to fight. I think Aloy is a cool character, though I can kind of see how some people think she's like wooden. The supporting cast is great. The environments are great. I love all the collectibles and just find out what happened to this world. It's very interesting. I'm looking forward to the sequel. This is definitely one of PlayStation's more key titles now. So it definitely earns its spot at number 3. Number 2. And you know this from watching my review of this game that I just published. Ghost of Tsushima. It is so close to being another one of like these perfect games. Like, I don't know if it's had a chance at being number 1, but it definitely got close to being number 1. It's just so beautiful and such a technical marvel. It's insane how great this game runs. It's you know, under 50 gigabytes. Think about that. It's a 60-hour game, under 50 gigabytes, and it looks amazing. The load times on this game are almost non-existent, which is crazy because that's what PlayStation says the PS5 will be. Like, that's next gen to them, that load times will go away. And it's crazy to see that this game almost does that on the PS4. Though my PS4 has gave me 2 messages so far that it's about to melt. You know, the PlayStation's too hot, turn off now while playing the game. Though my PlayStation I got in 2014, so this is a 6-year-old console, so it might have something to do with that. Let me know in the comments if you have like a newer PlayStation or a PS4 Pro, and tell me if you've had that experience. But it's just so much fun to play. It's got the best combat I've played in the game, maybe in my life. And it's so beautiful, and the world is so immersive and compelling, the way it just draws you in and wants you to explore it naturally. It's just a great experience. And then at number 1, and I knew this going in, there was no way I was going to talk myself any game above this. Number 1 is definitely God of War. It's the best game I think I don't know if it's my favorite game of all time, but it is the best game that's ever been made. full stop. You know, my favorite game of all time is probably still Skyrim, and it's definitely not the best game ever made. But God of War is just so fucking perfect. You know, maybe the text on the menus are too small, but that's about it, dude. When you're using that fucking Leviathan axe and you're bringing it back to you, or you get the blades at the end of the game, the story is touching, the world environments are great to explore, and then the two worlds at the end of the game, they definitely could have been like $10 to $15 DLCs a piece that they just threw in there for like added, cherries on top. It's just such a complete package, and I'm so glad they didn't do DLC because that's what it is. It's a complete experience. It's a package. They've remade this series that was just this bald dude yelling and like murdering gods into this very touching, story with his son now, and I can't wait to see where they go. And you have to play it if you own a PlayStation. If you don't own a PlayStation, you have to buy a PlayStation and play this fucking game. That's how great it is. It's definitely a 10 out of 10. I don't know if any game is ever going to get close to being as marvelous and magnificent as God of War. So that's my list. Thanks for watching. Listening, actually. Just been looking at a picture in the background. So remember to comment below what you think, what your top 10 PlayStation games are. Feel free to disagree with me, but keep it civil. And remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Check out my Ghost of Tsushima review that's up on the channel. Check out some of my other videos. I'll be seeing you guys in the future. Peace.